everyone, it's Catalina. Yay! I finally got my extensions. I just wanted to share with you guys my experience with my extensions and how I did it, and some tips and advice that I would like to give you guys. First of all, what I did was I used these micro loop extensions. This is a single strand, and basically what it has is it has this plastic loop that goes through this hole, and what this loop does is it actually catches your hair and pulls your hair through the plastic ring, so you could actually squeeze the ring and keep your extensions in your hair. Basically, this doesn't require any heat, so it doesn't really damage the hair. It could actually potentially damage your hair if you tug on it too much, or if you grab the wrong strands of hair and you apply the extension. If you go to like a professional salon, there's still a possibility of them messing it up because they don't have any experience with it. So, you know, do your research, and wherever you go to get your extensions done, I think you have to like find someone who knows what they're doing. As for me, like I said in my last video, I said I was going to do it at home by myself because I was like, ooh, so crafty. To tell you the truth, it practically took me 24 hours minus my sleeping time and minus like eating or working out time. And for you to do this at home, you have to be pretty patient with yourself, and B, you need a lot of time, and C, you have to have some sort of like craftiness, because basically if you're going to do this all by yourself, you're not really looking at your backside, and you could kind of get confused. So you have to know how to coordinate your hands with your mind and try to like picture where you're going at or how you're doing it. And if you're really not good at that, then I don't know, just don't ruin your hair by just trying to do it at home and then, you know, messing it up and then wasting a lot of money. Just go to the salon and let the professionals do it. So alright, putting this in is pretty self-explanatory. So what you actually do is you don't start from the very bottom of your hair. You actually leave like a layer of hair at the nape of your neck, and then you put all your hair up, and then you start with one row of hair. And it really depends on what kind of hair you have. For example, I have really thick, wavy hair, and I didn't know that I had this much hair until I started installing these. But basically, when I was a kid, my mom had such a hard time tying my hair because I had so much hair on my head. If you have a lot of hair, a lot of thick hair like me, what you actually have to do is you have to apply these strands right next to each other. Because if you kind of go like, if you do the, I forget what the term is, like if you go like, if you do one strand and then leave like a space for one, and then go do another strand and then leave a space like that, then you're not going to have enough of these to actually cover the volume of your actual hair. So what's going to happen is you're going to be really poofy at the top because you have your original hair, and then it's going to come down like this, and you're going to have like a very small amount of extensions kind of like leaking out of your original hair, and it's just not going to blend in well. So if you have a lot of hair like me, you actually want to have them right next to each other, and you want them going around all the way around your layer of hair. And basically what you do is you start from the bottom layer, you apply these all at like the same level, and then you bring down a layer of hair, and then you do it again, and you keep doing that until you reach like a certain point of your hair. You don't want to bring your extensions all the way up to here, because then like they'll kind of like pop out and people will be able to see it, and it's just going to be really gross. So you kind of want to stop like around here, around the crown of your head, and you don't want to go any further because it's just going to like, you know, it's just going to look really weird, and you're not going to, you know, be very good at hiding it. And then the areas that you really want to avoid is when you actually tie your hair. You know, you're going to have to be able to tie your hair, and you don't want this part with, you know, filled with extensions, or the lower part showing extensions. That's why I didn't start from the very lowest layer, and I left like a layer so you could kind of see this doesn't actually have an extension attached to it, because like right here, all the hair that actually goes around the edge of, you know, where your hair ends, you really don't want to put any extensions in there because you're not always going to have your hair down. You might have it up, or you might have it twisted up, you might have it tied back. You just don't want your extensions showing. Now if you're like me, you really don't care and you just kind of want everything to blend in, then I guess like fine, you could probably like put your extensions like here. See, like I don't have any extensions here, but if you don't like your hair just sticking out like that, you could definitely put extensions in there. But based on all the professional videos that I looked at, they were like, oh no, don't do that because your extensions will show. I don't know, I'm kind of half-half on that. I mean, if you want it, then definitely go for it. It's your freedom, it's your hair, who cares? Alright, so back to putting the extensions in. So you go layer by layer by layer by layer, and you just try to make like a very straight line. You don't want to randomly put these pieces in wherever you want to put them in, because then what will start happening is you'll be tugging on the wrong hairs, and some of these will be like intertwined, and then it'll just be like a hot mess inside your hair, and you definitely don't want that happening. So just try to be as neat as possible, and just try to go by like one layer, one line at a time, and that is actually a very tedious and difficult job. So if you have someone to help you out, then definitely ask that person to do a good job and help you out with it. Alright, so the second thing is, if you have like thin hair, then you don't want to put all your strands next to each other, because what's going to happen is your extensions are going to be too much for your thin hair. So if you have thin hair, or if you only have like a very little amount of hair, what you want to do is you kind of want to go like one after another. So you put one in, and then you leave a space for one, you put another one in, you leave a space, put another one in, leave a space, and when you pull down another layer of your hair, instead of putting the strand on top of the strand on the bottom layer, what you do is, remember that empty space, you put yours right here. So it's kind of like how you build bricks. So you put one here, and then there will be another strand on the lower layer, and then you leave a space here, and then you put one here, and that's how you keep on doing it. So basically I ordered 200 strands, and people said 200 is going to be more than enough, and you'll probably have a lot of pieces laying around. For me, 200 was not enough. I think I have to order like 50 more, because I think I need like 15 or like 20 more strands to actually kind of like totally blend in my hair. That's how much hair I have. While I was watching all these extension videos, I kind of noticed like two trends. Like first is, you either have really straight hair, so like like before after pictures, everyone almost had like really straight hair, like Japanese perm straight hair, and it just seemed like it blended in with the hair extensions really well. Or the second case is, everyone like curled their hair like crazy, and I'm pretty sure like people really want to curl their hair if they have long hair. The thing is, like, is that really realistic? Like people like me who just have naturally wavy hair and who didn't get their hairs permed, I mean, if we put extensions in, it's just gonna look like a really hot mess. And I really didn't realize that until I put all my extensions in. And then when I looked at the mirror, I was just totally horrified, and I was actually thinking of taking my extensions out, because I have wavy hair, and then on top of that, my hair is not layered. My hair was just blunt cut right here. So what actually happened is, as you could see in the video that I shot, my hair was just sitting there, and then extensions were kind of like bleeding out, and it wouldn't blend. So I was like really frustrated with myself. I was like, alright, you know what, like these extensions, I don't think it's really worth keeping them in if it's gonna look this horrible, so I might as well just like take them out. But then I was just kind of like, maybe I'll just try to like layer out, or kind of shed off some of the volume from the lower part, because what happens is my cut is really blunt cut. I have no layers, and then on top of that, I'm actually very wavy, so the hair actually curls at the end, and then it just gets poofy, and then I have more volume at the end. So basically it's just like a heavy volume of hair right here, and then extensions kind of bleeding out. So what I actually did was, with the extensions in, I started thinning out the end of my hair, and I was just trying to see how it actually blends in with the hair. So I started with this half, and then this half I left, and then I took a video, and then you could see like the obvious difference of how the hair blends in and how the hair can't really blend in. So it really depends on what your original haircut type is. I mean, if you're a person like me and you don't really like layering your hair or thinning out your hair, then I really wouldn't recommend putting any extensions in, because you're gonna have like a result like me, and then you're probably gonna be forced to A, take your extensions out, or B, have to like trim your hair so it blends in well with the extensions. So that was kind of like my problem, and you can kind of see that it's not totally blended in, because see, like, you could kind of see where like the original hair ends. It's probably because I didn't put that much effort into this side. This side blends in really well, but this side, not really. And I just need a couple more strands in here because some parts are empty. So if you have like a haircut like my previous haircut, like my original haircut, then you might want to get your hair layered out before you put your extensions in. And the second thing is, I was googling bad hair extensions, and then people would like show examples of Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan. The reason why they called it bad hair extension is because she didn't put any products in her hair, and it was just kind of like a messy look, like she walked out of her house. And the reality is, unless you're gonna curl your hair like Kim Kardashian every day, or unless you're gonna straighten out your hair every day, your extensions are bound to look messy. And that's the reality. You can't just look at salon pictures like before and after, because I mean, whoever went to a salon and got their hair done, when they're walking out of the salon, their hair is going to look perfect. I mean, that's kind of like a given, but you shouldn't be tricked that your hair is always going to look perfect like that unless you get it professionally permed and you have it like permanent like that. If you're like me and you don't have your hair permed or whatnot, then you're gonna have to go through this like really high maintenance routine, because you're gonna A, either have to straighten your hair every day, or B, curl it every day, just so it looks well maintained, or it looks blended in. If you're kind of lazy like me and you don't like straightening your hair or curling your hair so much, and you just kind of like tying your hair up, then you might want to ask yourself if you really want to do hair extensions, because it's going to require a lot of high maintenance stuff, and that's what I'm kind of worried about, because usually what I do is I wash my hair, I go to sleep, and I wake up, I have this like huge bed hair, and all I do is I actually just kind of like twirl it up, and I forget about it all day long. So that's going to be the hard part for me, taking care of the hair and maintaining it so it looks well blended in. That was about it on my take with extensions. And and a lot of people kind of complain about how much it hurts when you sleep. To be honest, the first night actually kind of hurt. Second night I was kind of okay, like this side was okay, but then this side kind of was tugging, and it wasn't a very pleasant feeling. But tonight's like the third night, and right now it's actually 5 o'clock in the morning, and I actually woke up at 1 o'clock and I'm doing this. But basically it doesn't hurt after a couple of days, and if you're like me and you could tolerate pain really well, then it doesn't really hurt. Oh, one more tip before I finish this video. When you're actually doing it at home, just try to be really careful not to pull on the wrong hair. So for example, when you're grabbing a small strand to do your hair, it's trial and error, but you're probably going to notice that you're not going to be using that much hair for one strand. It's going to be either 2/3 of what the strand actually has. So for example, 2/3 of this or half of this amount. So that's like a really small amount. When you actually gather your hair to put in the loop, what I like to do is I kind of like to twist it before I put it into the loop, because that way you don't get like loose strands, or you don't get like random strands coming in, and you don't want like something weird going on. I actually twist it a bit, and then I put it through the loop, and then I take out the loop, and that way the hair actually goes into the plastic hole, and then I use a plier and I just squeeze it really hard, And when you use the plier, you don't want to make the extension go like this. Like if this is the back of your hair, you don't want the extension going like this. So you actually want it lying down straight like this, and then you want to clip it right here, just so like it goes down, because if everything is sticking up like this, then you know, the back of your head is actually going to get really poofy. Alright, so good luck to those who are actually going to do it at home. I'm actually really happy with the results, and I'm really happy that I have longer hair. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys have any questions, you could definitely leave them in the comment section below. Yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.